we're going to draw a little bit differently. So yesterday we went over the fifth dimension, which is the spiritual plane. And by the way, sometimes people think that I'm repeating. I am repeating on purpose because one of the reasons that people have a difficult time changing is because they hear one time and they think that they got it. Yeah. Awareness is interesting because what we're working on is awareness. Yeah. The expansion of awareness is a little bit subtle and expand little by little, peeling off those layers. Yeah. And it's almost like because I'm using words, right? And then you're listening to and then thinking intellectually and then feeling intuitively as I share my words. And I mean what I mean, but it doesn't mean that you're receiving what I mean. Does that make sense? I express the words in a way that I understand, but depending on what is happening, depending on what you're focusing on, depending on the awareness, you will hear based on your awareness. So what happens a lot of people when they come to my study group or programs is that from the beginning to the end, it's interesting to go back to the beginning because you start and then you expand your awareness and understanding. And when they go back to the first place, they hear the same thing completely differently or tell me that I don't even know why I missed this information, right? So, and then also by repeating over and over, you start hearing something that you didn't see in the information before, not because I didn't say it, but because you didn't hear it. And it's not that you didn't hear in your eyes, but it didn't register inside of you because of your focus, attention, or because of some awareness. So why sometimes people don't hear is because awareness is a frequency. It's like a radio station, right? So if I'm speaking something along the right line of frequency, let's say 430, and you are operating in a different frequency, and sometimes you cannot hear that frequency message in a way that it means. But then the good news is that when you start listening to multiple times and when you start absorbing, you start taking in and your subconscious starts shifting and you start getting in a way that you're really getting. You know, sometimes we say, I really got this time, right? It's different from just, oh, I know that, right? I really got this time means that you really integrated that information and understood how it's correlated practically in your life. And now you know how to shift your behavior internally outside because you really got this. So that's why I can repeat things, right? And something that it's dear to my heart as far as this kind of thing is that gathering information is easy to do. Many people tell me that I already know this. Yeah. And I think the way that I explain, this kind of things might be a little bit unique, but many people know that, oh, I have heard of this, right? And some time ago, a person say, well, ask, I did a little workshop and I asked him, oh, how was the workshop? And he said, I read a lot of books. That's what he did. That's what he told me, right? And that indicated that he felt that he knew what I was talking about, right? And a lot of people have the information in the shelf and not in the self inside. The book information can stay on the bookshelf and not going into the self to transform. And because I'm using words and you're listening to, and it's sort of abstract, right? So it becomes about gathering information. But the real change and transformation happens when we alter and shift the subconscious mind. So subconscious mind is your body. So because I have been in the health and fitness wellness industry as well, I like to share this analogy from a workout or body transformation perspective. So gathering information about spirituality, personal development is exactly the same as reading a book on yoga, reading a book on exercise, and think that they change the body. Does that make sense? We want to be able to do consistently a certain practice to be able for the body to change its shape and the way it feels. Yeah. So this sort of material that we hear about the mind and the spirituality and the personal development is the same. We want to chew and want to stay consistent in this energy. And we do any practice that you can implement. Could be journaling, could be visualization, could be um, NLP, could be going to a little bit of past and revising, uh, gratitude practice, gratitude in advance, the fulfillment of the desire practice. All those things needs to be embedded, just like we go to the gym or yoga studio to change the body, because your subconscious mind is your body. Yeah. So just a little bit of sidetrack that is important, explaining why am I repeating things. So fifth dimensional spiritual plane is the realm of spirit, and the realm of spirit is absolute. So there's no opposite of it. Opposite. Yeah, there's no polarity. Absolute. And then the fourth dimension is the dimension of the mind, that where the thoughts and the feelings, emotions, and beliefs lies. And the third dimension is the physical plane. Yeah. So trust, let's say that it lives in the 5D. It's not like it's just that, but I'm just kind of creating a little foundation, right? And then when you are in a state of trust, you're accessing God inside of you. We're just gonna call this Godding. This is not what I created. Neil once said Godding, and I liked it. Godding, yeah. It's the verb of God. When you're embodying God, you call Godding. I am Godding, yeah. And then when you are not in the state of trust, you are in a state of separation. You're separate from the whole. So you are identifying yourself as the mind, as the body. I think I'm really forgetting the spelling. Separate, right? And you kind of assume that you're individual self and you're not connected with the creator. You're separate from the whole, right? Then you are not trusting the process, because if you are, the entire universe is governed by the living matrix and God, and you are part of it, how can you not in the state of trust? How can you not in the state of trust, right? So when we forget or when we lose access to that, we start separating, and then the after effect of trust is what we went over yesterday, expectation, right? So we want to examine our expectation, something like this spell, right? And then when you are in the state of Godding, your focus is in your desire, fulfillment of the desire. You're not really worried about it, because you know that you are powerful. And if God created this entire cosmos and you're not separate from it, you have the same ability as a creator, and you are the artist of the painting. The painting is the outside physical world that you're creating, right? Your life is your painting, right? I think, Molly, we can do some workshop together. That's what I'm feeling. When you are feeling separate from God and not having the trust, the expectation becomes an absence of your desire. So whatever that is that you might be currently working on, absence. You wanna check in. Where is your expectation? Are you putting focus attention to the fulfillment of the desire, that you are nourishing inside that you are gonna be manifesting soon in the future in the outside timeline, or due to the separation, the biological animal creature start taking over, and are you automatically and mechanically focusing on the absence of it? I'm gonna put 3D a little bit more to the right side because I need a little bit more space. Now, here, right, when you are one with God, you are always focusing on the fulfillment of the desire because you're always in the creation mode, knowing that you're a creator. But then when you operate from the sense of separation, you end up focusing on the absence of the desire, and you are moving from the createe. And the createe is the animal part of us that is no different from all the other animals that leads our life with survival mode. Animal biology has a tendency of leading with the survival mode, not to lose or survive by fighting. So as the creator, when you're focusing on the desired outcome, fulfillment of the desire, because we are so powerful, and when we are imagining and feeling shifting our subconscious, the creation of our desire is inevitable as we are guiding. We are actually focusing on the inner vision. Yeah. And then we're not living from our five senses, what we can see, hear, smell, taste, touch, but what we are living is from our inner vision, which is our desire, and we can play with the imagination. But when we are separate from the oneness, we are focusing on the absence of the desire. Expectation is focused on the lack, and we are being the createe in a survival mode. We're focusing on the external vision, right? The outside world, which is the realm of the effect. Realm of the effect. The difference between this positive polarity that goes with guiding, desire, creator, inner vision, and the negative polarity, separation leading into focus on the lack, absent, creativity, and external vision, is also the difference between believing, leading your life with believing, or leading your life with seeing. Believing in ourselves, believing in the manifestation of the desire, is to feel the presence using our inner vision before you see the actual manifestation in the outside. Yeah. So this is, again, a statement by Jesus, right? Believe and you will see it. Many people want to believe this sentence, believe, because it sounds nice. When you believe and you will see it, right? Believe inside that it's already done and you will see it. By the way, belief has two layers, right? One, the first layer is to believe that it's possible. Okay, you have a certain desire and I want to manifest this because it's going to be so good. And the first layer is to begin believing that it's possible. Now, believing that it's possible is to see in your mind and in your gut in the future. So that's the first layer of belief. But the second layer of belief is when you begin seeing in your mind and then feeling in your body long enough, consistently, with a certain intensity, you actually begin believing that it's already done, even before you see the actual manifestation in the outside. So first, we want to begin cultivating and nurture our belief from, ooh, I don't know how that's going to happen, to, oh, I think it's going to be possible, to feel that the unfoldment of the desire is possible. And as you continue to stay in that feeling, because your subconscious mind cannot distinguish what's real in the outside and what you imagine inside, you start assuming expectation that it's already done. So continue to engage in this practice allows us to expect the desirable outcome. And when you are in that energy in your mind, you are demonstrating God inside of us. Because whatever that you want, you are meant to create. Otherwise, you wouldn't want it. Every desire that we have stems from our, our desire in our heart. And if the desire in the heart exists, it means that in the spiritual plane, it already exists and there is an urge of the soul to experience that. Otherwise, you wouldn't want it. So everybody has different want. Everybody has different desire. Each one of us has our unique desire, but we want to go after our desire. And we don't want to make that desire smaller than what we want it to be. And this is another, belief inventory, right? Because when we begin tapping into the desire, often when I ask, okay, what is this that you really, really want? And then people start deciding their want based on the past, present experience or the existing environment circumstance or some opinions from the immediate family or friends. Yeah. Those stuff sort of comes in their mind and they make their want smaller. But the actual heart desire is something that warms your heart, that makes you feel absolutely powerful and expansive. And this is it, right? A feeling that is, this is it. So we want to go after that desire. And if you run into, maybe not, is when our ego is talking. Our ego is talking to make us want to feel a little bit smaller. Yeah. So as much as we can expand our belief, and then, by the way, everybody, I'm just gonna tell everybody, it doesn't really matter what your age is. It doesn't really matter where you're at. It doesn't really matter the life that you have been living up to this point, right? We want to remove all of those and dive into this inquiry. Oh, if I could do anything I wanted in this life, what would I love? That's where we begin. And what makes us feel so free. It could be in any area of your life, right? It could be your business, it could be your relationship, it could be your health, it could be your uh, overall package of life. What is this? What is this one life that I would like to create? What would be so fun and playful? And what would be so fulfilling? And the life moving towards that is the demonstration of God within you. Yeah. Because the more you can fulfill your desire, and then your desire is something that you choose, right? And not like, other person can make you want something, right? People have been living that kind of life for a long time, but you want to sort of tune in and begin asking yourself, if I could have anything, this is the question that we want to phrase ourselves, right? It's not like just what do I want? If I could have anything I wanted, what would I love to experience? And then begin going into the inner vision to acknowledge that creator inside of us and to begin nurturing and cultivating the belief. Yeah. So this is a little bit of the detail of how we want to begin embodying trust. So what I share basically today is we want to move our trust from just meditating, walking, music, painting, artist, all those flow state stuff is great. Now, how can we bring that into the mind on a moment to moment basis? To want to feel every single thought exciting, expansive, emotion expansive, and believe absolutely expansive. And the more we practice feeling and experiencing that, we are demonstrating that connection with the whole trust moment to moment.